From postcards that had cryptic messages on them being sent out to people who had bought vinyls in the past, to posters showing up around the world, phone call audios having hidden messages, and videos being sent out to streamers, there was a lot of weird stuff leading up to Chapter 2, Season 7 of Fortnite, and in today's video, I'm going to be recapping every single bit of information that has come out so far regarding the They're Coming ARG, which is related to Fortnite Chapter 2, Season 7. So to start us off with this video, I'm going to be using a recap that I made last night when I was a little bit more, in-depth focusing on They're Coming, because right now, I just woke up and there isn't really that many changes in Fortnite. So let's start it off by talking about what They're Coming is. So on May 22nd, people started receiving postcards in the mail that said the following phrase, "They're coming." Now, there was a total of 6 different versions of these postcards that were ever made and ever sent out to people, which you can see all of those kind of like flashing on screen as I talk about this. But along with these postcards being sent out, people had the confusion of what's this related to? Because for those who don't know what an ARG is called, it's basically an alternate reality game. Think of it as doing an Easter egg in a video game, but doing that Easter egg in real life to solve something. That's in reality what ARGs boil down to. It gets more complex when you start looking at all the different type of ARGs, but that's pretty much what they are. Now, no one really knew what the images on the cards were or anything, but what people started to realize by, problem solving is that it appears that these cards were sent out by a company called I Am 8-Bit. Now, I Am 8-Bit is known for selling and producing limited edition video game soundtracks as vinyls, art, t-shirts, plushes, and that type of stuff. So they obviously, were in the video game scene first off, but they also kind of threw a curveball at everyone by the fact that, well, Fortnite doesn't have a vinyl that anyone really knows of. But what we do know of is I Am 8-Bit actually did collaborate with Fortnite and Epic Games in the past for the Pro-Am. They were credited as helping out with that, so technically I Am 8-Bit is related to Fortnite. And that's how they managed to get all these postcards sent out to people to kind of hype up this Fortnite ARG. Aside from cards that have been sent out to everyone, however, let's talk about the posters. So there were 2 different sets of posters, or 4 posters in total, that had been spotted around various locations in the United States, in the UK, in London, and just basically a lot of places around the world. Now, depending on the region it was in, it had a different phone number, and these phone numbers updated at different points in time, which I'll explain more about that later. But it was just these 4 designs, and these were all you really ever saw on the posters that you could find out in the open. Now, other than the phone number that was on these posters, there was a glyph that was on the postcards that had been kind of translated into a letter of the English alphabet, as you can see by the images on screen. For example, there's a symbol and then an arrow going down to it and being like, oh, this is a J, or this is an O/D, and that type of thing. So it kind of had some translations there, but that might have been a red herring. Now, for those who watch me that don't pay attention to ARGs often, a red herring is basically like a misstep or a mislead in an ARG that distracts the person from trying to actually solve the main mystery at hand. Basically, it's kind of like a second path that doesn't have a conclusion. But with all the cards and the posters talked about, what else is there to really talk about? Well, we have videos. So out of the blue, around the exact same week that the postcards had been sent out to people, tons of people in the Fortnite content creation scene had started receiving DVDs and DVD players. Now, some of these people were Aussie Antics, Loserfruit, and Muselk on the Australian side of things. For the UK, we had people such as In the Littlewood and LEA, and then for the USA, we had people such as Cypher PK and Alexa. So what were the difference? Why were all these people around the world, only 3 or so content creators, really getting these video files? Well, let's talk about it. The Australia video, the UK video, and the USA video all had a different type of video on it. So technically, it was only really required to get one person from each region to post about it, which is why they probably sent it to a few content creators in each region, just in case one of them trashes it, not really caring about it at all. Now, I will play different clips from multiple content creators showing the videos from each region. However, I do want to say a few things first. One thing you're going to notice is that there's going to be symbols in these videos. The Australia video showcases one of the symbols from the card, the UK video showcases all of the symbols in what what looks to be a crop circle, and then the USA video just once again shows one of the 6 symbols. Now we're gonna start in the Australia side of things because that's where we first got the video seen by Aussie Antics. However, I do want to give a little thank you to In the Littlewood for being able to rip the raw video file of the UK version that was sent out to people so that I could showcase that and so people could try solving this mystery in glorious HD, or well, in this case, like 480p. So without further ado, let's start it. All the credits and stuff will be on like the top left or somewhere on the screen. So here are all the video files.
That's so cool! I'm so hyped, dude. I'm so hyped!
Now that you've been able to actually experience what are on these video files, what are on these DVDs, I do want to mention something before we like wrap up the video segment and go over to the audio segment of today's video, and that is the fact that hidden messages can exist in audio files or video files. Now, out of everyone's research, it appears that there's nothing actually hidden in these video files, and simply put, Epic Games just put it there to kind of get more promotion towards Chapter 2 Season 7's ARG called They're Coming. I did have a little bit of confusion though, because since we had 6 cards and there were 6 different glyphs, I was hoping we would end up with 6 different videos that we could put together, but it appears in reality that we're only ever going to see 3, and if more existed, they either never reached the mailboxes of the creators, or the creators just didn't actually ever upload those. Now, I also want to mention something about ARGs like this, and especially how Epic Games has done this in the past. So, what Epic Games has actually done is, you guys may remember there's a giant Theyre burger in the desert. They typically just end it. After the next season comes out, it's over. It's just like, ARG's done. Clapboard, click, you're done. We're the new season time. We're focusing on that. And I feel that this might repeat itself once again, and we're probably not going to have a conclusion to this ARG, especially since we just recently, and I'll explain this in a minute, got Peely in one of the audio spectrograms. But, you know, I just feel that knowing Epic Games' history with doing these Fortnite alternate reality games, we might not ever have a conclusion for it. But with that said, it's time to talk about the phone call audio messages for They're Coming. So let's start off by talking about the phone numbers. Now, I'm not going to disclose these in the video because I feel YouTube might think I'm trying to dox someone, which is not the case here. There are obviously numbers purposely put up there for promotional purposes, but there were 4 numbers. There was one in the United States, one in the United Kingdom, one in Australia, and one in Germany. And these were in specific locations such as the United States number being in New Mexico, the United Kingdom number being in Salisbury, England, the Australian number being in Brisbane, Queensland, and Germany's number just just being a toll-free number, we didn't really have a location for it. Now, when you would call these numbers, a pre-recorded audio message would be played to you, and these messages would change on a mostly day-to-day basis, with the audio messages usually ranging around 30 seconds long. Each one of these messages had a little bit of weird audio that didn't really make sense and either hurt your ears if you listened to it, but they were also mixed in with actual short voice lines. Now, I'm not going to be showing you guys the audio, simply put, because I do not want to blast anyone's eardrums, especially if you're trying to watch this at like 4 in the morning. I definitely don't want to give you nightmares. So I will be instead showing the symbols that showcased on these actual audios, and then reading the line if there was one. So first, let me explain how these symbols showed up. There's something called a spectrogram, which you can use. You can put audio into it and basically get a spectrogram, or just a graph of the audio itself. Now, people can hide secret messages in these type of audio files because they can actually put different pitches of audio all merged together that are simply put made to create an image when put through something that releases a spectrogram image of the audio. So let's start off and actually talk about the first audio message that was possible. So the image on screen that you can see is kind of like a weird half circle, and this could be seen or heard when calling the number before May 24th. Now, there wasn't really any noise, like there wasn't really any voice acting, it was just kind of garbled static. So there was nothing to really make out of it other than the fact that there were some weird shapes in the actual image. On May 24th, however, we actually got a second audio message, which turned out to be more of like a triangle, like upside down house in a way. Now, this one, we heard a man saying there's something weird going on here, and there was obviously the audio static sweeps, which actually printed out that little upside down house triangle image. But still, other than the audio of there's something weird going on here, there wasn't really much to make out of it. Our third audio message actually gave us the Gemini horoscope symbol. Now, this one had a female voice saying that deciphering the signal is still ongoing, and of course, you still had more of the static sweeps. I'm just going to stop mentioning that in all of these because you can tell by the images, hey, there's an image being printed by these static sweeps. And something you're going to notice here going forwards is that the different audio changes seem to happen more and more rapidly. For our fourth audio message, we had a female voice saying, if any of you are good with weird signals, pick up, okay? And then we had what seemed to be different phases of the moon as the actual background, like stego image. So other than that, it's still pretty cryptic. I mean, so far we had a half circle, a upside down looking house type of thing, the Gemini horoscope symbol, and now these 6 different phases of the moon. Now, here is where everything just ramps up and where everything also falls apart. I'll explain the whole falling apart of all of this whole ARG stuff after I mention the following audio. So on the 5th day, we actually ended up with 4 different audio symbols or audio spectros. So the first one came from Australia, and it said the following: we've got movement on that signal. This thing is bigger and weirder than any of us thought. And then the spectrogram would show images of kangaroos. Now, the same audio was in the Germany and United States version, however, they had a different spectro image. Germany had what looked to be just, an average globe, and then the United States had what looked to be Joshua trees, which is a type of cactus that can be found in the desert. So what does this really mean? Well, we do know that kangaroos have kind of been mentioned at the end of this season, along with platypuses and octopuses, so maybe we can see kangaroos actually arriving in Fortnite in Chapter 2, Season 7, with more of a deserty POI coming back into play. We obviously don't know this information for certain yet. What we do know is this is related to Fortnite, and that's where the 4th audio file that came from Australia once again comes into play. So this one came out around like 6 p.m. Eastern time, so it came out, very shortly after the original one from Australia, maybe like 4 to 5 hours later, and, well, it had Pilly running away from a farm with UFOs chasing after him. That's right, and this is going to be the one that I actually show the live spectrogram of with the audio with it, so if you don't want to feel like you're scared, you don't want to feel spooked, just prepare yourself to hear some sounds that may sound spooky, but here, I'm going to calm you down before you watch it. Just think of the audio as a UFO flying by, and hopefully that makes you a little less scared of it.
Watch the skies. They have found us.
Now that you've seen the audio file and you can pretty much verify with me that this is 100% related to Fortnite, because where else have we seen a banana man and UFOs other than Fortnite? Well, thanks to Hypex over on Twitter, we actually have a little bit more information just regarding the fact that kind of solidifies this is Fortnite, and that is the following street sign you can see on screen right now. Now, for those who don't know, foreshadowing quest number 4 mentions to place warning signs over at the actual crop circles, which are currently encrypted and aren't in the game yet. Most likely this will be one of those warning signs you actually put down there, but you know, maybe it's not, maybe it's something different. It just seems related based on the file name. But this pretty much solidifies the fact that, hey, this is a Fortnite alternate reality game. This is hyping up Chapter 2 Season 7. So what in reality did we get out of it? What's the conclusion of all of this? We had postcards, posters, video files, we had audio transmissions. What is the real end game for this, and what's the solution? Well, the end game, simply put, is going to be Chapter 2 Season 7's launch. There doesn't seem to be any type of solution or any type of end goal that has a special prize. It's just a way to do like a little bit of publicity to get a lot of eyes and attention on what originally was just some weird alien thing that turns out to be an alternate reality game for Fortnite. Now, whether it worked and Epic Games got their attention, I do believe so because, yeah, a lot of people talked about it. But in reality, this is just another way Epic Games experimenting with ways to hype up their community and people not even in the Fortnite community for an upcoming space-themed season. But with that said, if this video helped you get all the information you were kind of like confused about, if you have any other questions or anything, make sure to drop a like on the video, leave a comment down below, subscribe, post notifications enabled if you liked the video. And with that said, my name's FireMonkey, and I will see you guys on the spaceship. Peace out.